So it's wasabi. Bow with those who bow, the true believers. Render to Caesar what is Caesar's. Kodak said you don't believe in Jesus. Leave him no choice but give it to you like Jesus. Don't ever fix your lips like college and it's something that I'm gonna end up abolishing.
Visiting a Subaru retailer for service is the best way to keep your Subaru the way you love. They'll care for your vehicle with
I'm late. I'm late. I apologize. I'm going to start, I promise you, within the next minute. Got some things we need to talk about. I appreciate you joining me. Whether you watch now live or if you're watching later. I'm about to get some water. He said he don't see. I know you like killing them. You terrorize the skies for 25 millenniums. Now you setting fire to land. You the lion, you the savior, the messiah to land. You need backup. You moving through that dog. Call Badu and get Tyrone on the megaphone. Tell him I sent you when your code name is Megatron. If trouble comes, use your brain like a telephone. He'll take you to the chocolate city where Two-Face and the Prince of Darkness had a committee to snakes. Drill him. Let the skin peel off till we fill him. Then spray him with the rhymes like spilling. Get him up real good, but don't kill him. We only want to burn him to the point that they will it. To give the location of blank face filler. We split atoms and give mushrooms to civilians. We will see but never recover. And all the evidence was smothered. Under a big cloud of rubble, the hope was smothered. The hillside was smothered. The statue with the torches, still eyes is a struggle. She's a harlot. You still like time while the dog turns scarlet. Those who want to know what I'm bumping J Electronica. All right, cool. Welcome. Happy Thursday. I'm happy for everybody to be joining me, or one of you guys. Yeah, my channel's not that big yet, but you know what? I'm still here for a reason, and if one person's listening, or when this isn't live, you're listening, I'm still thankful. So I want to get some stuff off my chest. And, you know, before we start, I just want to say this, that I'm actually kind of afraid when I do things like this, and even speaking up about the truth and what I truly believe. But what I realize is that a lot of times I was afraid, and then somebody will come forth and say something, and I'm like, I knew that the whole entire time, but I didn't say it because I was afraid maybe to be the first one or whatever. So I'm just going to put myself out there and be vulnerable and just do what I feel like is on my heart. And if it's popular, whatever. If it's not, you know, whatever, they hail you and they know you anyway. And I never cared what anybody had to say about me anyway. I always feel about like how I feel about myself. That's what matters to me. So I want to talk about some things. Just to let you know, this right here, do I have my address on it? Let me cross this out real quick. I'm going to show you something. Okay. This right here is a voting ballot so that we can vote. And last year, I don't know if this is the one, or I might have it over there somewhere, but last year I was going to vote. And I'm not one to really get involved in politics, but like I told you guys, you know, on different lives and different talks before, that I started watching the news just because of George Floyd, and I got addicted to it last year because of everything that was going on. But I filled out everything. I registered to vote, and I actually didn't vote. And I'm happy I didn't. But what I want to show you is actually who I voted for. So I'm going to do it on live screen today. Private to a lot of people, like you ask them what party are you, you know, and how do you feel about this and that. A lot of times people keep it private. Some people open with it, but you know, voting is supposed to be a sacred, private thing. So that's what I'm going to do today, but you got to stay tuned for that later on. So what do I want to talk about? Why did I name this that? You might not want to hear this, but you need to hear this. Well, I want to really talk about that we are woke. A lot of people's woke. This is all hashtag and cool nowadays. But let's actually dig a little bit deeper, because we're just waking up when quite woke. We still got We still got the coal in our eyes, right? We still got some sniffles. We still got stink breath. We need to brush our teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're woke, but like, we're not awake. You know, we got to drink our first glass of water. We got to move our body around. Like, we're like, you know, the butterflies just peeking out of the cocoon. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is what it's about. It's about thinking in terms of nature and thinking in terms of thinking in terms of universal, thinking in terms of universal, and thinking in terms of nature, because that's what's really, really real. That's what really, really means something. A lot of times, right, we're using the ideology that was created from the mind of a man. We're using words, and we're using structures and documents that was created from a man. That's very, very important to remember, because we like to mention these concepts like some esoteric concepts, some spiritual concepts, saying that we're this and we're that, but then we mix man's ideology with that. So you might not understand what I'm saying, but I'm about to break it down. Okay, so look, if you realize the human condition, right? My relationship with God, my relationship with Source, my relationship with life, the principle of life, the father mother principle. I have a direct relationship, and I don't need anybody to be the mediator of that, and I don't need to have anybody in between me and that relationship. Well, man has so cleverly constructed structures, made up religion to be the medium. Am I frozen? I think I'm frozen. To be the medium, to be the middleman of you and your creator, of me and my creator, right? They put something in the middle. They said, pay your tithes. Okay, they gave you literature, etc. This is not a talk on religion, by the way. I just want to point that out. Okay, what about and think about this also. A lot of people, I don't think, really think about this, because here in America is a Christian nation, right? A lot are. But here in America, what about the rest of the nations that aren't Christian? Because a lot of times we like to talk about God. A lot of times we like to talk about Jesus and say that Jesus is coming back to save us. But what about the people that don't believe in Jesus like that? In the United States, because I want to start thinking universally instead of thinking in terms of these constructs. So people say that they're awake, right? Oh, I'm awake. Jesus, this. When Jesus said, and I'm not religious, but Jesus said, never worship a man, an idol, or a graven. Meaning, he's saying, don't worship me. Think about this. Just think about this. Think about what I'm saying. Don't get mad. Don't turn away from it. Don't resist it. I really, really want you to think about how we're speaking, like, in terms of being awake or being aware, but we're only looking at it from one perception. We're only looking at it from the perception of the United States. Okay, we're only looking at it from the perception of a Christian nation. And by the way, the United States is fake. That was a name that was given by a man. Okay, America was a name that was given by some people or whatever. Okay, this is just one globe. This is just one living organism. There really is no borders. There's no tape. There's no lines except that's made up in government saying that this is New York, this is Paris, this is Afghanistan, this is China, this is Chad, this is Ethiopia, whatever, We created that. So it's important to remember that, because when we think in terms of, political, and we think in terms of religion, we aren't really looking at the totality of life. That's deep. As deep if you really think about it. Okay, so think about this. There's 331 million people in the United States. Okay, there are 8 billion, roughly, people in the whole globe. which means that the United States, just by math, only makes up 4% of the population of the world. 4% of humans live in the United States. That's it. So think about this when people are saying that Jesus is coming back, okay? And I can explain that in a little bit, but we're not even going to touch that right now. Think about what people are saying when they say, the U.S. is the best nation, and like f everybody else. Think about what is really being said, what we are creating for ourselves, the duality, right? Because if somebody's good, right, and the best, that means automatically somebody has to be the bad and somebody has to be the worst. That's the world of duality. That's the pole. That's the spectrum. You feel me? I got a little snuffle. I'm sorry, but so really, really think about this. Very, very, very important. Okay, very, very important. Think about. Well, let's before I go to this category. Think about Muhammad. Think about Buddha. Okay, these are people that are at the hierarchy, right, of other religions. Think about the way that how the other people feel about these people. We in China there are what is there? There's over a billion people in China. In Africa, there's like 1.4 billion. In India, there's over a billion. Think about what religion and what spiritual practices they have, right? Krishna and different deities like forget the name, the elephant, but think about Buddha, right? Think about all of these other religions, Islam, Sikh, and so many. But we tend to think just linear, right? Just the United States, just Jesus, just this, just that. Just think about that. So our beliefs as a whole, our beliefs are not congruent. They are not consistent. I was talking to a guy yesterday on TikTok live. I had it recorded. Maybe I put it up. He was a kid. He was about 18. A very astute young black man, and I was like, so asking him a lot of questions, and I was like, well, how do you feel about the jab? And he was really, really religious. He wasn't coming from a spiritual point. He was quoting scriptures. His whole TikTok is based off of religion and things like that. And I'm like, well, how do you feel about the jab? Do you consider that the mark of the beast? And he was like, oh yeah. And then he was like, oh no. But he believed everything in the Bible. But when it came to that, he stuttered and he hesitated. Maybe I will put the video up. And he said he had to take it because of his father. Okay? But what I'm saying is that is the belief system congruent? It's not congruent. And it's like that with a lot of us. So a lot of the times what's happening, I don't think that we realize this, but our minds, our thoughts are actually being hijacked. They're being hijacked in such a subtle way that we don't even notice that we're being hijacked. And how do I know? Well, I know because it happened to me. It happened to me last year, right? If you want to know man, if you want to know the nature of man, you need to study yourself. When I mean man, I mean humans, man and woman. You want to study yourself. Those are actually the rules. If you want to know anything, you have to find it in yourself first. So think about this. Think about the news. And I might have put this out, but I'm going to keep talking about it. Think about the news and how they're constantly playing something over and over and over and over again. That's one form of hypnosis. Think about many different news outlets and how they're all saying the same narrative, almost word for word, using the same language and everything. I don't think that that's by accident. Okay, and when this occurs a lot, it's obvious. It becomes obvious. Okay, so think about, everything that's happening in the world, but they only focus on the negativity. What are news mostly? You have to put the politics, they're getting on the presidents, It was always Bush. It was always Clinton. It was always Trump. The presidents are always going to be in there. They're going to take up, a good percentage. Then you're going to have some police brutality or something that always comes up. Then you're gonna have some knickknacks, maybe something silly, and you're gonna have weather, dramatic weather events that happen. Okay, think about it. Think about it. Think about it. And it's all based off of fear, and it makes people go into a state of grief and fear, and they stay there and they stay low because everything starts right here. So if you can control this, and then that's going to change the way that people see things. It's basic psychology. So why am I saying all this, Jonathan? We know about all this stuff. Well, if we know about it, then why are we still playing the game? What else is made up of man? You know what's another thing that's made up of man? The concept of race, of black and white, of brown, of African, of Indian, of European. These are all names that we just gave. They're all names, but in the bigger scope, these are names that were given by man. Somebody created this, but on the bigger scope of things, it's just humans. It's just humans. If there was a large group of babies that were being born, a large group of babies, and they never learned any of this BS, such as all these different names and whatever, okay, they would just look at the person and go, oh, that's so-and-so. Oh, that's so-and-so. They wouldn't say, oh, this person's that, this person's that. It's made up. And just because it's normal, we accept it. We accept it as fact just because it's normal. But normal does not equal truth. Very, very important. Normal does not equal truth. It doesn't. Do you guys realize that at the beginning of every communist regime, at the beginning of it, the first thing that they did was they pinned the people against one another, meaning that they created division in the culture, in society, and then people began to fight one another. That's what happened at the beginning of every single communist regime. They pinned the people against one another. Think about that. And that's what we're seeing right now. That's what we're seeing right now. And I'm not here just to tell you all the stuff that you might have known before, because I do have a solution to all of this, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. It's going to take a little bit of time, and I'm going to take my time. Normally, I'm rushing. Normally, I'm like, who's watching? How long am I going? I'm worried about it. Well, today, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to take my time, and I'm going to get everything out that I feel like needs to get out of me until I feel empty. Until I feel empty. So, separation, right? There's no such thing. There's no such thing. It really can't be a such thing as a separation. That's an illusion in itself, if you really think about it. So this is for all the teachers. This is for everybody who considers themselves a teacher. Everybody who considers themselves to be a god, okay? Everybody who considers themselves, somebody that's helping out people, that to reach higher states of consciousness. This is for everybody that talks about their woke, that talks about 5D and all these kind of concepts. If you're speaking to a large group of people and you're talking about one race is better than the other races, okay, you're creating the problem. You're creating the problem, and you're not creating the solution. Okay, white people are no better than nobody. Black people are no better than nobody. Yellow people are no better than nobody. There's no such thing as white, yellow, whatever, red, brown. Nobody's better than nobody. We just accepted these concepts as truth. And it's not popular what I'm saying. I get it. I know it's not popular. I know people like to think, certain things. Maybe sometimes the darker your skin you have, the more energy you can get, and that means that you're a god. Maybe other people like to think the latter. Maybe I'm closer to Earth because of this, or I have more superpowers because of this. It doesn't matter. Long time ago, long time ago, and this story comes from a book called Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. Anybody who knows those books, they know those books. So I'm not going to go too deep into it. But this is a real story. Is that there were people who lived on, or should I say beings, okay? There were beings that lived on Neptune. And they were pretty much like creator gods. Whatever they thought about, it manifested. And what they did was they created a planet of paradise, pretty much like heaven on earth. They created a great planet. And it didn't have any animal amoeba on it. It was straight up plants, and it was, humans. Okay? These people created such a beautiful paradise that what they did eventually was they began to compete against one another. They began to entertain competition. And in that entertaining of competition, greed arose, anger arose, and many other negative traits arose out of the competition, right? I'm going to do better than you. Oh, look at him, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm going to outshine him this time. Oh, I'm going to show off, right? And what happened because of that is that the planet started to fight. And then over time, over many hundreds of years, there became a big, big war. Okay? And I'm not going to go too deep into the story. If you want the reference and like the information on it, I can give it to you. What happened was a war broke out, right? A war broke out, and many people passed away, and only a few people remained. And the people that remained were the people that held on closely and tightly. I call it the father-mother principle, meaning the God principle, the feminine, masculine energy, the yin and the yang. Those that held on to source energy, those were the ones that survived. Everybody else perished. And those who have eyes, right, can really, really, and those who have ears can really see and understand what I'm saying right now. That if we get tricked into thinking that we're better than somebody, or this competition thing, wanting other people to pass away and die, or wishing bad on some other people, then we are the problem and we are not the solution. Like some Palo Santo. We're the problem and we're not the solution. I believe that everybody wants the same thing. I think that everybody wants happiness. Everybody wants love. Everybody wants peace. Everybody wants big smiles on their face, right? If they have children, they want to see their children happy. I think that we can all agree that the majority of us wants this, and that the majority of us have gone through something, have really, really gone through something. We've gone through something in life. It's that saying that hurt people, right? But the opposite is also true. The opposite is also true, that people who love themselves can love other people. As simple as that. As simple as that. So I want you to remember this: that you have 80. Is it 80? No, you have 37 trillion cells in your body, and each individual cell has 0.07 volts of electricity. So 2 cells in your body, okay, 2 cells in your body equal a double A battery. And if I was to count to 1 billion, not trillion, I think last time I said trillion, I might have made a mistake. But if I was to count to 1 billion in seconds, it would take me 31 years. 31 billion seconds. I'm sorry, 37 billion seconds equals 31 years. 37 billion seconds equals 31 years. But we have over 37 billion cells in our body. And they're full of electricity and full of power and possibilities. Why do I say that? I say that because when we have things like politics and when the campaign starts, right? And I have to say this right now because once the campaign starts, they sent me something in the mail and they wanted me to vote. Okay. And I got into a big, like almost an argument, a big debate with my girl yesterday. And I'm talking about how they suck your energy. Think about how drained. I was drained during the last presidential election. It was like the most anticipated fight ever when it came up to like what was it called? The I don't even know what it's called, man. But when the two presidents are having a grand debate, that's what it was, a debate. The most draining thing ever. They're draining your power. They're draining your power, literally. So what does that mean? So what? Why are you even talking about that? I'm talking about that because we need to hold on to all of our energy. I feel the best that I ever felt, man, in terms of my mind and the clarity, and definitely in comparison to last year. Because last year was tough. By just not watching the news. Just not watching it. I mean, I felt great. I don't know what's going on too much. I see little things in TikTok, like some tornadoes and some other things and things like that. And I might see a clip here and there. But I'm getting it from somebody else. I'm not getting it straight from the machine that's spewing out this frequency of fear. And I feel great. And when these politicians, why do they, wind you up to vote to either a left wing or a right wing? Why? Because they need you. Because without you, without me, without us, there is no us. There is no US. They need us to participate. So we're coming to the times right now. We're actually not coming to the times. We are in the time right now. If you look at all of the material on my channel, right? A lot of it isn't even me talking. I put a different spin on putting other people's stuff on there because they can say it better than I can say it. And a lot of these people have great accolades and they really articulate very well and they contribute. They play a part, but I just put it all in one piece. But I'm going to start doing videos more of me. But what's saying is that they need us. Each one of us, 37 billion cells, each cell, 0.07 volts of electricity. That's a hell of amount of power that one person holds. So when they suck you, when you get arrested, they charge you. Communications unstable. Please wait. Okay, cool. It got a little messy right there. So that's why when somebody gets arrested, they charge you. Have you ever thought about that? They charge you. What do you do with electricity? The two charges, the negative and the positive charge. Why is it that when people go to court, they go to a circuit court? What is a circuit? Circuit has to do with electricity. Really, really think about this. We're electrical beings. That's what the Matrix was trying to show us in the movie. Real talk. So when we participate in this political system, a couple of things are happening. One thing is we're being drained. The second thing is that we're actually giving away our power, and now we don't have enough power to put it back into ourselves. I talked about, I don't know if I can show you real quick. I don't have a balloon on me, but I talked about how we get inflated and then we get deflated when fear comes on. Ooh. Inflated, we're feeling good, deflated. Ooh. And that's what's happening constantly in the US anyway. Is that we're having hope, maybe something's going on, we're going good, and then boom, because they keep putting these things out. Remember what happened last year with coronavirus? Remember what happened last year towards before George Floyd was murdered? Remember what happened? People were starting to get over that. They was like, oh, summertime's coming. People were starting to feel good. And what did they do? After the spell was just about broken, they freaking put another layer of fear on it. And because it was racially inspired, should I say, it stuck. It stuck. And think about how people divided after that. I mean, at that time, I was living with two roommates. They were white. At that time, I was dating a girl who was from Finland. She was white. And we had the conversations of, you know, of race. It just came up naturally. You know, my boy back home, you know, he's in a relation, whatever you call it, interracial relationship, right? And he was telling me what he was dealing with. And what I'm saying is that they were controlling our psyches. A lot of people don't notice it might not be popular, but again, I don't care about what's popular. I don't care about any of that. Okay. I've always been original like oregano. I've always gone against the grain. You know what I'm saying? I've been a rebel in that sense. George Floyd, I'm putting this out there. George Floyd and Derek Chauvin, I think his name was, they actually knew each other prior to that incident. I believe at one time they were both bouncers at the same club. They had chemistry together. So a lot of people don't know about that. You know, so I'm not into these whole conspiracy theorists and everything like that. But what I do know is that there are no such thing as coincidence. And that the news is constantly staging stuff. Constantly. It's been proven so many times. So who knows what is what? Who knows what is real and what is fake? But what I do know is that the news is a mechanism based on the past and even based on right now. We notice that it's a mechanism for controlling the psyches of people. Everything you see is obvious. I'm gonna say it, but it's obvious. Everything you see, the pen, everything you see, the lighter, the hat, the whatever. Somebody had to think about it first, right? Leonardo da Vinci and Van Gogh, both of them said this. They said it's easy for them to paint because all they do is they sit down and they close their eyes. And I think it was Da Vinci. He said he sleeps while he's drawing, and when he wakes up, it's easy because it's already done. He already did it in his head. And Van Gogh says something very, very similar. I was a chef for 20-something years. When I was to cook and I was to create, it's like painting. I would look at the food. I would think about how I'm going to cook it, saute it. I would taste the flavors in my head. I would think about how I'm going to cut the vegetables or whatever. And then once I had it in my head, it was already done. All I had to do was do it out here in the physical, but it was already done. Everything starts in the mental. So think about when it's over and over and over again, the same narrative being played across all of the media systems. People just drinking it up, man. They're just drinking the poison. And then they want to fight other people. And then they want to say, oh, Jesus is coming to save us. And again, I'm not getting on anybody's religion, but these are man-made constructs. This has nothing to do with universe. This has nothing to do with the universe. Think about the small little United States. Now think about the small little planet Earth. Okay, the planet Earth is like a period. Think about all of the books, every single book ever written. And think about you open up one of those books and you see a tiny little period. That's how big the Earth is in relation to everything else. And if we believe in God, which I do, and I think that I don't really say I believe in God. I know God. I don't have to believe in God. I know God. And I think that you also know God. God, if God is who God is, then it's not just for the United States. It's not just for planet Earth. It's for everything. If God created all of it, let's call it the father-mother principle, because we always like to say him, he. It's no he, it's no she, it's both, and it's neither, right? If it created everything, then what are we really saying? What are we really saying? Because think about this. We really have to think outside of the box, because again, we get it mixed up. We tend to mix man's literature with universal laws. It doesn't work like that. We have to think in terms of of nature. We have to think in terms of the universe, not in terms of what some pope or some priest or some Jesuit or whatever has created, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. It's an illusion, and we're all contributing to that illusion. And how we contributing to it and how we upholding it by giving our energy to it, because we're energy beings. It's as simple as that. So we give our energy to that, the religion. We give our energy to the politics. We give our religion to this separation of black and white. We do this. We are our own biggest problems, and we are our own biggest solution. We're the ones that we've been waiting for. Us. We're the ones that we've been waiting for. Nobody's better than nobody. Nobody. I really need that to sink into people's head. Just because maybe you could be albino, and then maybe there's somebody who's the darkest black blue person. They're equal. Nobody's better than nobody. It's not popular. I know it. I'll probably get a lot of flack from it. I know it. It doesn't matter. Nobody's better than nobody. Everybody has special gifts and talents. Everybody's been through some stuff. The people of Laos, what they've been through. Anybody know about the secret war that the United States has caused on that country? What the people go through in North Korea? What people go through in India? What people go through in a multitude of different countries in Africa? What people go through in all places in South or Central America? And many other places. Everybody's had a plight. Why? Because we're all contributing to this. We're all contributing to this. We got this one nation, again, 331 million people, United States. And we got a problem with obesity. And then on the opposite side of the globe, we got people who have a problem with not eating enough. One side's dying because they're eating too much. The other side's dying because they're not eating enough. You understand what I'm saying? Those who are watching, do me a favor, please. Hit the like button. I really need it so that it could get passed around a little bit more. This is a new channel, but yeah, I need some help from you. So please help me out and press the like button. Yeah, so I really want people to think about this. I really want people to think about this. That the next time we buy into some type of religion, and again, I never subscribed to any religion, not once. I studied a lot of them, and a lot of them have good stuff. I never subscribed to not one. I don't belong to a religion. I never subscribed to a political party. I don't belong to a political party. Why do we have to fit inside of something and say that that's who we are? Why can't we say, okay, maybe I resonate with this, I agree with this, but I don't agree with the totality of it. So I'm not this. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. How do we make change? Everything that I said, maybe everybody knows already. Maybe they know it consciously, or maybe they know it subconsciously. But how do we make it change? How do we make it change? Steve Jobs says something that you could only connect the dots looking back. Well, let's look back. Who has made changes on this planet? They like to give us the narrative of the Gandhis, of the Martin Luther Kings, of the Jesus, right? Those are the people who made change. All of the other people too, man. There's so many. So many. But how do we really, really make a change? Think about it. And what I have to say might not be popular again. It might be simple, which it is, but it's not easy. If a company is a group of people that are moving in the direction of a common goal, then so is a country. And by the way, the United States actually is a corporation. It is like a company. That's why you got a president. Every president has a company. Okay, so how do you change? You change by changing yourself. If you want things to change, then you have to change. Simple as that. When we all begin to change, when we all begin to operate differently, when we all begin to operate from courage instead of fear, from courage. Courage is being afraid but making moves anyway. A lot of people are paralyzed when it comes to doing what they really want to do because of fear. You understand what I'm saying? So, how do we make that change? We do it incrementally. We do it by surrounding ourselves and by positive people and having a great environment that is conducive to the changes that we want to make. If you're a person and you want to make a change of changing your habits, maybe you're a smoker and you want to change your habits, well, you don't surround yourself by other smokers. You surround yourself in an environment that is conducive to the change that you want to become. Environment's powerful. Very, very powerful. So that's how we change. I want to go back and say something because I just thought about this. Is that when we think about the presidential elections, right? And politics, I know I'm giving it a bad swing, and you can probably know why. But on a legislative level, right? Because you got the executive branch, you got the legislative branch, and then you got the judicial branch, right? The president is the executive branch. Well, the people, right? When they pass these laws on a local level, you can get involved in that, and that I think you can actually make change. I think you can stop some of these like mandates and things like that. You understand what I'm saying? You have a little pull in your community, and it's not as draining. I think that's what do they call it, like a grassroots. But I want to say something. People think that we actually elect the president, right? I said, what Steve Jobs said. We can only connect the dots looking back. Somebody, said something to me before, like hindsight 2020 hindsight. Like looking back, you can see clear. Why is it that every single president ever, except for one, every single president except for one, has had family ties, blood ties to the British royal family? To British royal family, every single president has had ties. So if this is fact and we can connect the dots looking back, you know what that tells me? That tells me that we were not really electing a president. That we were selecting the president. Because what is the criteria to be a president in the United States? You have to be over 35. You have to be a U.S. Citizen. And there's something else. I don't remember what it is. I forget what the third one is. But there's only 3 things to be a president. And there's 331 million people in the United States. And you're telling me that out of all of those people in the United States, of course, that the population fluctuated over a period of time. But out of all those people in the United States, you're telling me that just by luck, by the grace of God, that every single president, all 45 of them, or however many presidents there were, give or take, right? That all of them, by a coincidence, happen to have, direct blood ties that were their blood somewhere through cousins, 5th cousins, 6th cousins, 8th cousins, something like that, were connected to the British family, the royal British family. That doesn't sound right. Think about this. So here everybody is, oh, I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna vote. Just saying, you vote. Voting is your voice. Voting is your voice. No, it's actually sucking your energy, and is draining you, and it's polarizing the country. Because naturally, if you have 51% of the people on this side that, let's say, votes Republican and 49% that votes Democrat, or vice versa, whatever, a group of people is not going to be happy. Whichever side, a group of people is not going to be happy because their candidate didn't make it, and it naturally becomes polarized. But why is it that every single president except for one has ties to the British family? That tells me that they selected two and said, okay, you pick. You pick between the ones that we select. That you are not going to really elect, you're going to select from one of the two. It's simple. It's simple, man. There's pictures of Obama and Bush Jr. playing together when they were younger. A lot of people don't know that, man. Even Donald Trump got ties. Donald Trump's related to Hillary and all this other stuff. It goes deep, y'all. So what I'm saying is, get your butts and get your head out of the political game, and all of that energy that you have. Right? Again, you got 37 trillion cells. All of that energy that you have. Each cell holds 0.07 volts of electricity. That's a half of AA. All of that power that you have in you, put it back inside of you and learn about yourself. Learn about yourself. Learn about your energy centers. Learn about your energy centers, the different chakras. Think about this. If you have all of this electricity and power inside of you, and if your nervous system, you have your parasympathetic nervous system and your sympathetic nervous system, and one is responsible for fight or flight, the other one is responsible for cell regeneration, reproduction, and digestion. It goes a little bit deeper, but that's it on a surface level. If you have all of this energy in you, and what's up with that bug, man? If you have all of this energy in you, what do you think your chakras are? These energy centers, your third eye, your thyroid gland, which is your throat chakra, your heart chakra, your solar plexus chakra, your sacral chakra, your root chakra. Don't forget about all the videos that I put up. Don't forget about the ones on TikTok. Don't forget about, I told you guys about Bruno Groni. Bruno Groni was the guy that had the big neck that lived in 1950 in Germany, and thousands of people came to him because the conventional hospitals could not heal whatever illnesses they had. These physicians, they couldn't heal them. They came to him. He spoke to them. He spoke to them, and it went away. And sometimes he didn't even have to be there. He could do it over the phone or something like that. There were thousands of people. He would walk out on the balcony just like Jesus. And he would say, you can walk, get up. The blind, you can see, and they would get up and they would walk. Think about what that means to throat chakra, that you speak your reality into existence. And then they put him in jail. They fined him so much to where he was almost broke, and said that he was practicing medicine without a license. The story is phenomenal. A 6-hour document. Help me out. There's a 6-hour documentary about him. 6 hours, man. And when it was suppressed, his powers, his neck got real big. And he said it, that it comes through here, that his powers come through here. What is this? This is your chakra. We speak things into existence. So what I'm saying is that all this energy that you have in you, these centers, learn about these centers. Learn about yourself. Why is it that all of the great sages, that they all have a common narrative? They all say that the heavenly kingdom is within, or go within. All of them say, know thyself. Do you know who you are? Do you even know the basics? Do you know what your Adam apple does? Do you know where your voice box is located? Do you know where your lungs are? Do you know what your liver does, where your liver is located? Do you know the functions of your heart? Do you know about your adrenal glands, how they're located on top of your kidneys? Do you know about the different functions of your reproductive organs that is more than for just sex? Do you know about the 3 different pumps that you have? that are attached to your spinal cord that can pump up your spiritual, aka sexual energies, and pump up that energy to your brain, which is something called a microcosmic orbit. Do you know about your Datien? Do you know about all of the meridians that you have on your body, the 72,000 meridian points, and what those actually are? Do you know about your pituitary gland? Do you know about your hypothalamus gland? Do you know about your pineal gland? Do you know about your thyroid gland? Do you know about your thoracic? Do you know all of these things? Think about it. Do you know yourself? And if you did know yourself, if you did know that you had over 37 billion cells in your body, and each cell is 0.07 volts of electricity, so 0.70 volts times 37 billion is a tremendous amount of power. If you knew all of this about yourself, the thing that what is his name? The president of South, he passed away. I can't remember it. Joe, I forget his name. But the greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. The greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond all measure. The greatest fear is not that we are inadequate. It's that we're powerful beyond all measure. So why do we hide behind a political system when they tell you to vote? Your voice is to vote. You know, you have power. You have power. And then what do people always say when it comes to voting? They say, "Oh, my ancestors died for this. I'm gonna vote," and they get emotionally charged. They get charged, man. All right, my ancestors died. Women got the right to vote. I'm gonna vote. They go crazy. But what else did other people die for? And how far back are we looking? And who's writing these books? I've had some spiritual experiences. I'm not just speaking from, I'm a strange guy, man. I know I'm strange. Those who know a little bit about me, I speak about it freely now. I used to not to, but I grew up a vegetarian. I grew up homeschooled. I only have 4 hours of public schooling. I went to school the first time when I was like 12. And then after a year, I went back to homeschool. I went to high school for like a year and a half. That was it. I dropped out of high school and got my GED. I ended up going to Penn State for a year. I was going to be in a what do you call it? The FBI. The FBI. Then I said maybe a detective. I dropped out of college. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to go back. And I went back to college and I graduated, of an associate's of science. And I became a chef. And I went to 3 different schools. My mom's, college professor, always into education, things like that. My dad's kind of the spiritual guy. I had a pretty balanced childhood. 7 brothers and sisters. Most of us are 2 years apart. Never grew up to have a religion or anything like that. I was free to think for myself. So I wasn't born in the Matrix. And I was lucky. I wasn't born, at a young age. They didn't put you in elementary school. They didn't put me in elementary school. So I kind of got to be me. And there wasn't a lot of TV around. Our parents didn't let us watch TV like that. So I was lucky in that sense. Did you find it ironic that there are 12 months on the calendar, that they put you in school from kindergarten to 12th grade, that there's 12 different houses or different numbers on a clock, and there's 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness. That in the jury, that there's 12 people in the jury. That in religion, they say Jesus and the 12 disciples. King Arsalot, whatever his name was, and the 12 knights at the table, the 12 tribes of Judah. What am I getting at with this 12? I'm just saying that we're in a system that is constantly programming you. The biggest ways and the biggest mechanisms that are used to program people, and people don't know it because it's so subtle, is the clock and is the calendar. The clock and the calendar. And both of them go by 12s. Think about it. I tell you I was strange, and I still am strange. I don't care. I own my weirdness. I don't care. I lived in the woods for 2 months. 2 months, right off of the land. Anybody can vouch for me. They know it's true. Anybody who knows me, whatever, like my credibility is intact. It's not me street cred. It's like wood Craig, right? Because I lived in the woods. But yeah, I automatically knew what time it was just by looking up at the sun and the moon. I knew what time it was. Do you know that the actual clock that we go by, that this wasn't put into place until I think it was 1280. Excuse me, the year 1280. That's when the clock was put into place. And who was it put in place by? It was put in place by the Roman Catholic Church. Roman Catholic Church. And think about the name, Roman Catholic. Rome Catholic. People don't understand that we're actually still living in Rome right now. Think about football, and think about how the football stadium looks like the Coliseum. And think about how when it's a Super Bowl, they give it the names in Roman numerals, the Roman numbers. That's how they. I think right now it's the 50th Super Bowl, but they do it in Roman numerals. There's so many similarities between what's going on right now in Rome back in the days, from the politics to some of the language. So I'm saying all of this to say is that, ladies and gentlemen, we are woke. We are woke, but we need to become fully awake. And when we're teaching and when we're talking to one another, and when we have our little groups going on, and when we're learning and we're wanting to expand our consciousness and our frequency, remember this, that it's not just one group of people that has all the power, that everybody has power. Remember this, that what we know of as this world, this planet, it's a difference. That there really is no United States, that's just a made-up name. Before that, it was Turtle Island, and even that was made up. That is just land. Okay? Really, really recognize this. Really recognize this and look at it from a universal point of view. Recognize this too, that money, that what we know of as money, that's not even money. The Federal Reserve notes. Silver and gold. That's even more money. Like, that's actually like real money. So think about what the government has done. Look, I was a chef, right? A chef for 27 years. 27 years of my life cooking all kinds of stuff, man. All kinds of stuff. Remember this. And when I would pray for stuff, oh God, more money, this, that, whatever. It didn't come the way that it came right now, because now I have a business, and when you're in a W-2 employee, you have the company that's paying your taxes for you. You're only paying half your taxes, and your company's giving you a raise. And if you're on hourly, they tell you to go home after 40 hours. And if you're on salary, you can only make but so much. If you want to get a raise, you got to wait until the end of the year or every 6 months so they can give you a little bump on your raise or whatever. But how could the universe bless you through a job? It's a little bit. It's a couple more hoops that the universe has to hop through in order to bless you on a job. Whereas if you have your own company, you say, "Oh man, help me out." Anybody can, direct you towards Google or whatever, and then they can request your services. The universe can get to you a lot easier when you own a business. And I'm saying this to say is that we've been tricked. Money, Tango said, money fiat is a religion. This is true. This is very, very true. It's one of these things. Like we've been tricked. Like I talked when I started this off saying that religion, and I'm not getting on anybody, but I really want you guys to understand what I'm saying is that religion is a construct between you and the creator. I don't need anybody between me and God or the universe or source or creator, whatever we want to call it. I don't need me and some pope or me and some minister or whatever. I don't need anybody. I don't need to confess my sins to anybody. Really, really think about this. that we don't need these middlemen. The dollar bill is a middleman, and that's the reason why through inflation they can steal your money. The religious system, the political system, the educational system is all middlemen. It's middlemen, and they're just taking their cut. So I'm starting to digress. Okay, I'm starting to digress, and I'm going to close this up soon. But I want to close it on a high note, and I want to know you're doing some good work of truth. Good for you, brother. Much love. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I really, really do. So I wanna end this on a high note. How do we move forward? How do we move forward? Not even as a country, but as a world. You know, I'm going to tell you guys that what happens here in the United States, the United States. What happened here in the United States is literally going to affect the history of this country. I mean, of the world. It's going to dictate the direction that this planet is going to move in. That what happens here in the United States. Keep in mind, only 331 million people in the United States. Okay, there are 8 billion people, which means that we only make up 4% of the population of this planet. 4%. What happens within this 4%, right? And even not the whole entire country is going to wake up. It only takes 10%. So 10% of 331 million is what? I don't know. I'm just going to say 31 million, 33 million, something like that. It only takes that many people to make the whole entire world move in an upward spiral of light, of a higher frequency, a better planet. How do we do this? How do we do this? We do this first and foremost by what I'm doing. That whatever you feel you truly want to do in your heart, and what you really, really want to say, don't bite your tongue anymore. No longer bite your tongue. If you really feel some type of way, like, I don't care who you are, I love you. Like, okay, I'm going to hold your hand. You're my brother, regardless. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if you're straight. I don't care if you're handicapped. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're blue. I don't care if you're purple. Like, to actually really come together and say, you're my brother. And I love myself so much. I love me so much that I have to love you. I have to love you. I have to. Because nobody can truly, truly love someone else unless they love themselves. This is just obvious, no matter how we look at it. And I know we don't get it all the time, man, because we have these super villains. We have these Bill Gates, right? We have these, and I don't even know what Elon Musk is doing, man. But I don't get a good vibe with that guy. Okay, whether if he's popular or not, you know, and all these other people. I mean, people are dying. People are lying, and because people are lying, people are dying, right? But to really, really speak up, that it's not. It's more than the United States, y'all. It's more than the United States. What we do every moment, matters. So, oh my God, it matters in this country. It matters big time. It matters. Why? Because we have freedoms, because we have influence, because we have a system that is based on principles that are so unique in comparison to everything else. You know, to the rest of these countries. Our principles. And yeah, we don't live up to them. Yeah, we fall short of the goal a lot. But you know what? We constantly keep on climbing. We want to get there. We want to get there. And those of us who are awake, those who have eyes, those who have ears, listen to me. Listen to me. Put yourself in a position that is uncomfortable and stay in that position until you are comfortable. Do the work. Do it. Because when it's said and done, and it can happen in an instant, it can happen like those 18 people that passed away in the tri-state area, and when the tornado came and the flood came. I bet you a week ago they didn't anymore. Think about that. Tomorrow, I'm in California, man. For all I know is that tomorrow could be the biggest earthquake ever. We're up for one. I'm trying to get out of here. Man. I'm thinking about moving back to the East Coast, man. But you never know. You never know. You never know, man. So what I'm saying is, like, if I was to look back at my life in retrospect and say, did I really do all that I could do? Did I really give it my all? Did I really help out? I got daughters, man. I got daughters. Did I really do all that I could do? And that's the type of passion that we have to have. And it doesn't have to be as intense. Maybe it can be just to keep on going and growing. And to know that in times that it's going to be hard. And when it's hard, that's when you're going to have to do your shadow work. You're going to have to do your shadow work. Like last year, man, when it was so racially, how would I say, divided, right? And I had 2 roommates, and both of my roommates were white, and I was going out with a girl, like I said before, from Philly, and she was white. And it brought up, the topics of race came up a lot. And for me to feel some type of way when somebody would say something, or when somebody would look at me in a funny way, not necessarily my roommates or whatever, but other people, wouldn't even give me eye contact. And I could feel what was going on. And for me to have to sit down with myself and just feel the feelings, man, and just feel it. It hurted, but just to take it and don't run away from it. Because we have a habit in this country, because we have so much, of hiding away from our feelings. And how do we do that? We do that by this. How do we do that? We do that by drinking alcohol. How do we do that? We do that by playing games. We do that by so many things of just making ourselves forget. Making ourselves forget so that we don't have to deal with it. Because we don't want to face it. We don't want to face it. Tango said, my people perish because lack of knowledge. This is true. How many people really acknowledge the knowledge? And on top of that, how many people actually utilize the knowledge and apply it? Because there's information, there's knowledge, and there's wisdom. Somebody can inform you about something, and if they inform you with lies, like the news does, then the knowledge, which is knowing, you're gonna be on the wrong track. And then the wisdom, once you apply that knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Like wisdom is applied knowledge. I say in school, right? In school, they say, okay, cool. Read this. Now take a test. And if you can regurgitate what you learned and put it on a sheet of paper when we ask you the question, bing, you're considered smart, right? But life is like, hey, get out there, take the test first. And after you take the test and then you sit back and you think about it and be like, yo, man, I learned this, I learned that. Like you get the lesson later. So wisdom gives you the lesson. Life gives you the lesson, the test first and the lesson later. Whereas school gives you the lesson first and the test later. It's backwards. It's backwards. Tango said the past happened perfectly to put you right here. Suffering becomes a gift when accomplished with time. Wonderful teachings I will watch later. Thank you so much, Portugal vibes. I think I'm saying it right. Thank you, K Divine 100. I appreciate all y'all, man. I appreciate all of the support. All of the support. I really do. And that's what we got to do, man. We have to support one another. I support so many people, man. So many people. And why? Because I subscribe to what they're doing. I subscribe to what they're doing. I don't subscribe to a news channel. I don't subscribe to NBC. I don't subscribe to any of that. I subscribe to people that are operating from their heart and that from a higher place in their mind, from a higher thought. So, yeah. If you haven't hit the like button, please help me out. Hit the like button so this could be passed around the universe of YouTube, and YouTube could show it to more people. Yeah, because I wanted to get around. Yeah, I came prepared today. I think I talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. I have a lot more stuff that could be addressed, but we'll save it for another live. But I want people to know that this is a big time, and many people of many colors, many backgrounds, many sizes are waking up all over the planet. All over the planet. And you're not alone. That if you're watching this, something is resonating inside of you. Something you feel it. You feel that you have a calling, and perhaps you're looking for your tribe. And I want you to know that I'm part of your tribe. What do we say? Birds of a feather flock together. So time is an illusion. Space is an illusion. Nothing can ever divide us. The only thing that can really divide somebody is their thought. That's it, just the thought. That's the only thing that can ever divide us. So we will bring forth this United States, the true meaning of the United States. And through that, through our actions, we will bring forth unity on the whole world. And it's possible. So I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, all you ladies for tuning in. My name is Jonathan. Thanks for tuning in to Seven Circles. I hope you have a great day, great week, great month, a great year, and a great life. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.